Hi, my name is Saremy, and I wrote a book all about fitting called Fitopedia, an encyclopedia of fitting adjustments for the upper body and sleeve. Volume 1, since there will be a Volume 2, all about the lower body and torso. There's a lot of really great fitting resources out there, so I wouldn't have created Fitopedia if I didn't think I could improve upon what we have available to us. There's over 70 fitting issues in Fitopedia, and I designed it so that it would have all the options available for every fitting solution. This means that it includes all armhole styles like raglan, cut-on, and set-in, and also all shaping styles like princess seams, panel seams, or darts. Probably the biggest difference with Fitopedia from other fitting resources is what the fitting adjustments have been named. You'll see this name right here at the beginning of each section and also on a tab on the corner of the page here. But if you know it as its more common name for fitting, that's included right here. I'm not going to try and hide what they've been named, and you can call it whatever you like. All the adjustments have a brief paragraph that describes exactly what's happening with the fitting issue, how it feels, and how it may be looking on the sample garment. There's going to be a photograph of the fitting issue, and there's a sketch that will also reflect this fitting issue, just in case it's hard to detect in the photograph. This paragraph here is going to sum up this more conversational paragraph in a punchier and succinct way so that you can find exactly what you're looking for. Once you get the hang of Fitopedia, you might even just look at this bulleted list when you're trying to find the fitting issue you're experiencing. Now, in my opinion, one of the best things about Fitopedia is this right here. This section here is going to tell you some key things. It's going to tell you what the solution is, what other possible solutions there could be if this one's just not quite right, which pattern pieces need adjusting, what consequences there are to other pattern pieces that sew to these pattern pieces you just adjusted, and how much you need to change the pattern piece. This little schematic here is sort of a visual representation of exactly what the solution is, so you can kind of start visualizing what needs to happen. And it's color coded. Teal will always mean adding, and red will always mean removing. From there, we get to all of the adjustments in this section, and you're going to look for the armhole or the neckline shape or the sleeve style that your pattern has. So here we can see this is for most neck shapes, and if you're experiencing this issue and you have a regular sort of crew or jewel style neckline, this is probably the adjustment that's going to work for you. Just because this fitting issue is a neck fitting issue, it doesn't mean that it might not affect garments with different armhole styles. You can see here with the raglan, the neckline goes straight through all three of the pieces that form the upper garment. The neckline is a part of the sleeve pattern piece in this armhole style. For almost all of the fitting issues, there's going to be two versions of it, one that goes one way and one that goes the other way. So for this one here, we can see the neck position was too far forward on the pattern piece. And we have the solutions for the opposite fitting issue when the neckline of the pattern is too far backward. Let's talk a little bit more about this section here. Sometimes all you need to know is what the solution is, because it might be something pretty straightforward, or you may have a favorite way of doing it, and you just maybe need a little reminder. And that's what this little paragraph is going to tell you. What needs to happen to this pattern to solve this fitting issue? And it also sort of describes what's happening, so you can start wrapping your head around what needs to happen. Sometimes it's very obvious, especially if it's a length or a circumference issue, but when it involves something like shaping or the position of the fitting issue, that may require a little bit more nuance so that you can kind of start getting your head wrapped around it. And this little diagram here is going to reflect whatever this paragraph is describing. Now, what if this fitting issue is kind of what you're experiencing, but it's just not quite it? You can look at this other possible solutions section and look at all these other fitting issues to see if one of these is a little closer to what you're experiencing. This section will also tell you the pattern pieces that need to be adjusted in order to fix this solution. And in this case, it's just the front pattern piece. In other words, you don't have to change the back, you don't have to change the sleeve. But if the change that you need to do to this pattern piece to fix the fitting issue affects other pattern pieces that sew to it, maybe they're not involved in the fitting issue, but maybe some of the seams that you've adjusted in order to correct this fitting issue, they sew to other pattern pieces like collars or sleeves or facings or maybe a lower garment or a yoke. This right here tells you all the consequences that you need to be aware of and look for your pattern piece. Anytime we're adjusting something, we're asking ourselves, did this solution fix the issue, and what pattern pieces have I affected? Lastly, I think this right here is going to be one of the most favorite paragraphs for most people, is how much do I make the change of this fitting issue? Is it a 1/4 inch? Is it 1 centimeter? Is it 2 inches? Is it 5 centimeters? And detecting this amount can be a little tricky sometimes. This little paragraph is going to give you some tips and ideas on how to detect the amount that you need to change it. All of these fitting issues assume you've made a test garment and now you know you have a fitting issue. And then that's why you can refer to the photograph and the sketch to sort of narrow down exactly what you're experiencing. At the beginning of the adjustments, there's a quick reference section that shows you a little snapshot of every single fitting adjustment. That will allow you to sort of narrow down exactly where you need to be in the book. There's also this color-coded area that is roughly in the order of how you would fit your garment, but more importantly, it classifies all the fitting issues for an area of the body. So if you're experiencing a neck fitting issue, you'll know if you go to all the pages that have the yellow corners that you're in the right area for the fitting issue that you're looking for. And if you're experiencing some gaping, that's usually a shaping issue. Gaping always means a shaping issue. There's a gaping quick reference right at the beginning of all the adjustments for neckline and armhole gaping. I really hope Fitopedia is something that becomes a great resource for all of your fitting needs. Remember, it's the pattern, not the person that's the issue. That's why the fitting adjustments are named the way they are. That way you can start looking for the fitting issue that you're experiencing based on what the fitting issue is for the pattern. But if you're used to calling it that usual name, you can still call it that name too. There's over 70 fitting issues, 350 adjustments, all armhole styles, all shaping, all bodies, all sizes, all genders are included. I hope you enjoy Fitopedia. Happy fitting.